What's going on, guys? So one of the main problems I see with snatches, and one of the main problems you guys are probably having, is that especially if you find that your hang snatch, your block snatch, like above the knee, is much better than your snatch off the floor, it's going to tend to be because you're probably not actually pulling the bar off the floor as well as you can. So some people will be told you need to try and pull the bar back toward you, you need to get your knees out the way, you need to get your knees out the way, or conversely, you'll be in the exact opposite polarizing fashion. You'll be told you need to stay really, really upright, and you need to try and keep your knees as far forward as possible, and try and keep your chest up, and try not to let your butt raise off the floor at all. You need to try and stay in this posture where you're perfectly vertical. Now, like anything, the actual position that you need to be in lies somewhere in the middle. The goal should be to pull the bar in a fairly straight line. So the bar is going to come back towards you a little bit probably, or it's going to stay in a vertical line over the middle of your foot. But remember, the middle of your foot has kind of like a range. So the middle of your foot isn't this pinpoint exact location. The middle of your foot is a range. It's the middle third of your foot. As long as the bar stays over that, whether it moves forwards or backwards, you're probably going to be fine. Once the bar is over the middle of your foot and is traveling over that, you're trying to make sure that you move your legs, your knees, back as little as you can without distorting the bar path. So you end up looking like this guy in the middle. When you get to the knee, your shoulders are over the bar, your knees are slightly behind, and you're in a balanced position where your arms can just hang nice and relaxed. As soon as the bar now comes above the knee, you can sweep back in and you can finish your pull. What will happen if you try to get your knees back too far is this. You end up being into the position where you create the kind of crane effect or the fishing hook effect, where the fishing rod effect, where basically now you've got to yank backwards to be able to finish your pull. And for some people, that style actually works because your back and hips are a lot stronger than your legs. But for the most part, it's not something you really want to encourage to teach when you're starting off. You want to try and encourage and teach a balanced pull where you're using your legs a bit more. And conversely, if you try to stay too upright, what happens is you don't move your knees enough, and you don't stay over the bar enough, so then the bar ends up knocking out in front, and you pretty much end up with the same result as if you did this. The bar loops, you can't finish the pull very well, and you end up not really getting anywhere. So I'm going to then show you after that is a little drill where basically I'm just letting the bar hang off of my arms. I'm trying to let my arms be quite relaxed, so either use hook grip or straps for this, and I'm just trying to let the bar hang over my midfoot without having any much tension in my arms, but having some tension in my lats and my back. Then I'm bringing my knees into the bar, and then I'm pushing them away. So I'm almost going into like kind of like a stripper, it's almost like a stripper position where my butt's really, 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 really high up, like almost higher than my head. Then I'm bringing myself into the pull position that looks a bit more like a half squat position. And I'm just going back and forth between knees, making sure the bar doesn't move so I can feel where the bar is supposed to hang over my foot, and then I can bring my legs to it. And what this is going to teach you, and what it's going to make apparent to you, is that you don't actually have to work super, super hard through your arms and your back to be able to hold the bar in the right position. The bar is going to naturally sweep back towards you as long as you keep your back tight and as long as you move your legs properly. So do a few of these drills, and you can see next, I think it should have rolled through by now. I'll slowly start moving into basically this little hang pull where I'm just trying to move the bar smoothly up and down in a very, very straight line, trying to make sure I keep my knees and my legs as close to the bar as I can without distorting the bar path. So what I mean by that is I'm not keeping my knees so close the bar's going to knock out in front. I'm not pushing my knees so far back that the bar has to chase my legs backwards. I'm trying to make sure the bar can move in more or less a straight path up and down, but my legs are almost, if not actually, brushing the bar as it comes up. And what you end up with is this nice smooth pull where your hips and your shoulders basically raise at the same rate, and then your shoulders only actually start to come back as the bar reaches mid-thigh. So this is a really good, I suppose you can call it a drill or an exercise to do if you really struggle with feeling where that balance point is. But really, that's what you're looking to do. You're trying to make sure you move your knees back just enough to get the bar off the floor and past your knees. So then when you come back in, you've got your knees bent so you can use the power of your quads to launch the bar. Guys, hopefully that little drill is going to make it a little bit easier for you to understand how to actually make your pull better. So how to actually make your pull work so that you don't feel like when it gets heavier, there's just no power left in your legs. It's going to show you how to make it so that your pull's nice and efficient so you can keep your legs involved in the lift, regardless of how you pull. Remember, that rule that I've just given is quite like a broad stroke. It's keeping your knees as close to the bar as you can without distorting the bar path. That's going to be different for everyone. Some people will barely have to move their knees. Like I know that when I pull, if I pull properly, it looks like my knees don't straighten at all. It looks like I literally just hip thrust off the floor and then go in. For those of you with longer legs, your knees are going to move back quite a bit, but as long as they move as little as they need to backwards, you're going to be fine. So just try and remember that. And you're trying to create that kind of bow and arrow effect when you get to the knee. So as you can see, this is creating this kind of conveyor belt effect where now as the bar comes above the knee, all the hips have to do is move forwards and the legs have to extend upwards. Whereas if you're here, now you have to crank the hips underneath, or you have to crank the hips up to be able to get into the bar. Same for this one. Now, as the bar comes back, you now have to crank the hips down and under to be able to go up. You want to have that nice effect where as the bar comes towards the knee, it's nice and close. So as you finish, it's just going to be really, really easy. So that's hopefully an easier way to be able to picture or get you to feel what your pull should feel like as you go from floor, as you go to above knee, which is going to be usually the problem for snatch and clean as well. that's usually going to be what the problem is with it. So try that out when you're just warming up. Like, have a little mess around with that drill. Do as many reps as you need to, because it's only an empty bar drill, so you can do as many as you want. Make sure you hook grip or use straps and keep your arms relaxed, to keep your arms nice and relaxed, but keep your back tight. So imagine the muscles that run down the sides of your spine, the ones closest to it, tighten those and leave everything else nice and relaxed, and you'll see what we mean by just letting the bar hang.